Welcome, everyone, to the Improvly Speaking podcast. I'm your host, Dana Gowan, and I'm so happy you're here today, joining us for an amazing episode. We took a little hiatus in August, September-ish, but we're back with new episodes regularly, and I'm so excited that we're back and you're here. We have an amazing guest on today. She is a camp friend, an amazing improviser, and she's now adding to the improv scene in Sacramento, which is so exciting, and we will get into that more. If you're new or joining for the first time, the goals of this podcast are 1, to help you understand the benefits of improvisation and applied improvisation, to demonstrate how improv shows up in all aspects of our lives, and 3, to inspire you to try new things, get out of your head and judgment zones, and find creative outlets and passions that can help you. And that's a tall order, but I think we will get through all of those goals and accomplish all those goals today. Let me tell you about our amazing guest, Jessilee Windhaus. Jessilee is based in Sacramento, California. She has her Bachelor of Arts degree in theater from Sacramento State University. She is the owner of House of Comedy, which is a woman-owned, LGBTQ plus owned, fun-loving company that offers adult improv classes, live comedy shows, and workplace team building sessions. If you're in the Sacramento area, House of Comedy will have their theater location in the old Sacramento area opening up very soon. It's currently TBD. We'll get into that a little bit, but hopefully soon they will have a grand opening and you can take classes on site at the theater if you're in the Sacramento area. Before that, House of Comedy was renting a space in Midtown for the last year, and they could only perform about 6 shows a month. And now with this new theater location, they will be able to do 5 or 6 shows a week. A week! That's amazing. I love that upgrade, and I'm so excited. Jessilee wears many hats, both literally, she looks great in hats, I can attest to that, and figuratively. She is an improv and applied improvisation educator, facilitator, and consultant. She is a performing arts nonprofit co-founder, event planner, producer, actor, director, coach, amazing friend, amazing person, etc., etc. She's awesome. She is a huge supporter of the arts and an even bigger advocate for the arts in the Sacramento area. Yes. You can find her performing on, I'm going to get this, Sharks Barksley. I had to say it nice and slow. Sharks Barksley, Brief Tiny World, and Guess What at House of Comedy. And she regularly guests in regular exclusive blend at Stab Comedy. Please welcome the super amazing, super creative, and superstar friend, Jessilee Windhaus. Yay, Jessilee!
Yay! Oh my gosh, what an intro. Thank you so much, Dana. My head is huge now.
Oh, perfect. Well, what a bio. And I'm just so excited that you're here. I think this interview has been a long time coming. You know, you've been on my short list of interviewees for a while, so I'm glad we're making it happen.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and Jessilee, I was thinking about it, like when we met and how we met. So I know we met at Camp Improv, Utopia. We are camp buds, camp friends. I think half of my guests that come on the show are camp geeks, and I love it. I love all things improv camp. And I think we met in 2022, but tell me if I'm wrong. We did deconstruction together at that camp. And then we've also been cabin mates at a few camps, like that one, and then I think the year after. But did you go to camp before then? When was your first camp experience?
Yeah, no, you're correct. That is when we met, was 2022, and that was my first ever camp. So yeah, that was a great experience.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, because I had gone the year before in 2021, and that was my first camp experience, which was the first Yosemite camp after COVID. So it was kind of like weird. And then I feel like 2022 was just like, we're all in, and COVID was still lingering, but not like as big of a thing. So I'm so glad we're 2 of 20 in our deconstruction class, which is kind of a big class.
Yeah.
But I mean, BOC and all the teachers, they make it work. And it was actually really fun to have that big of a group handle that kind of form on stage.
Totally. Yeah. The decon is really, really cool. Yeah. It was a really fun class, and I loved the variety of sort of approaches to improv that are a part of decon. So it was really, really cool. And yeah, our class is full of really fun people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just thinking back to our show. We had lots of things going on, and yeah, it was so much fun. I've attended 3 Yosemite camps and 1 West camp. So I'm up to 4 camp attendances.
Nice.
Where are you at? I think you have me beat now.
I think I'm at 5, but I was supposed to go to Evolve in July. And unfortunately, I was in Denver and came down with COVID, asymptomatic.
No.
So I was with 2 other campers, and we had to turn around, and we had to drive all the way. We drove 17 hours straight to Sacramento.
Oh my God. No,
It was rough.
that's
And then I
awful.
had to go home and quarantine. So it was rough. And then I was supposed to be at Yosemite camp this past weekend, but I tested positive for COVID. So I had to miss it, which was sad. I love Yosemite's my favorite.
Oh, that is, and I just mentioned 2022, COVID was lingering, but it wasn't that bad. And it's still here in 2025 affecting our lives and your camp experience specifically, not being able to
Seriously.
go twice. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that is the worst luck. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's funny to me. Yeah, I could talk about it, and I have not been shutting up about it for the last several days. So I'll bypass that. But yeah, it's been rough.
You've been ranting about it, I'm sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't blame you, because that is, well, it's the worst because you get packed up and you're supposed to take the COVID test on the same day that you travel and you get there. And so you're all packed up, you're ready to go. Let me take this test. And then it's like, no,
That is literally
no.
exactly what happened. I had my bags. I was just ready to walk out the door, and I looked at my test, and I just stared at it for a solid minute, and I was like, huh. Sad, sad.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're healthy. And on the
Thank
bright
you.
side, I'm glad you're healthy and it was mild or even not even a thing. It just prevented you from going. But what keeps you, when you're healthy and showing negative COVID tests, what keeps you going back to camp? You've been 5 times. I mean, I know why, but yeah, what brought you to camp in the first place and what brings you back?
Yeah, I just love camp so much. The first time I went, I've been in the improv scene in Sacramento for so long, and I really just wanted exposure to more things. I wanted to be among a new sort of community. The scene in Sacramento is it can be a little challenging to navigate sometimes. So I wanted to be around new folks. And, I'm an only child, so I went by myself. I was like, this will be fine, just I went by myself. I didn't know anyone at camp, but I was like, it's a bunch of improvisers. I feel like it'll be fine. But I did not
Yeah.
expect it to be as friendly as it was. I got there late because of who I am as a person, and everyone was so welcoming. I showed up in the dinner line and immediately just made a friend just because they were just like, how are you? Where are you from? What brings you here? Is your first camp? Oh my gosh, welcome. There was no cliquishness. I could sit down at any table and immediately everyone was just like, hey, welcome. It was so lovely and welcoming. And it turned out I did know one person there. Woo! But that was it. But it felt like coming home, So it was really lovely and I had a blast. And then I love the intensive format. It makes me feel like I'm
Yes.
back in college. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We have many things in common. 1, I'm an only child. 2, so yay, only childs unite.
Yay! I didn't realize that. That's great. That makes sense though.
Yeah. We're very oh, it doesn't no, just kidding. We're very
No, it's good.
social only childs, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was like. It makes sense. I know people give only children so much shit. Can I swear on this podcast?
You absolutely. Go ahead. We will
Great.
mark it as explicit.
Excellent. Yeah. We just get such a bad rap. But I think the reason I was like, oh, it makes sense that you're an only child is because I think that being an only child forces you to have a lot of, I was going to say, what's the word?
Choose your words wisely. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Like it forces you to to be brave because you have to do a lot of things that people with siblings don't have to do. You don't have built-in friends. If you're from a small family like me, then you don't have a whole lot of built-in friends that way either. So you have to be able to go up to people, make friends, make connections. You're usually talking primarily to adults. So that gives you, I think,
Yes.
a little bit more confidence. So it makes sense that you've, done this really incredible business and you're running this project and doing all the other cool things that you've done. So only children are awesome.
Well, thank you and good recovery there. No. um, but I can relate. I am really good at talking with adults, and I guess I am an adult now, but even like as a teenager and stuff, like I was good at talking with adults. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good skill to have now when you're an adult talking with other adults. But yeah, so I can relate to all that, the only child problems, or I don't know. I wins, I guess, that you can have. I am also a very late person too. I am
Mm,
not punctual. And I am not in California anymore. And I do feel like the East Coast in general wants you to be more on time. I get the sense
yeah.
that I need to work on my punctuality here.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I feel seen because I've been working on it lately. It's hard. It's hard
It
for
is
me to do.
hard.
I think the greatest source of me being late is A, cockiness, and B, getting distracted. Like, I get cocky if I'm running on time. Um, I'm like, I'm like, ooh, okay, I've got a little extra time. And so then I dick around and I'm like, no, I got too, like, I should have just stuck to the plan. I'm like, I had 15 extra minutes, but instead of treating those like the buffer that it should have been, I just was like, ooh, 15 minutes. I could do whatever the hell I want. And it always bites me in the ass. So,
I always try to fit in too much stuff in that 15 minutes. Oh, 15 minutes. I could do a whole load of dishes. It's not even that
yeah.
productive. I don't know what it is. It's just, or I can put like my whole face of makeup on in 15, and I can't. I
That,
can't. It takes longer
that
than that.
I did that the other day. I was like getting into the shower, like stepping into the shower with 15 minutes left before I needed to leave. And I was like, this will be fine. And like a voice in the back of my head was like, bitch, no, it won't. What do you absolutely no, it won't. You like physically impossible.
Did that on Monday too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have improvements that we can make with
Hmm.
ourselves, and that's okay. We recognize that in ourselves, and we're
Yeah.
slowly making those improvements. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all you can do as a human person.
Exactly. And it takes time, and we're late people, so it's going to take us extra time to, work on this punctuality thing.
True,
But
true.
Jessilee, you have been doing improv for a while. You were not late in see that segue there? That was a good segue. You were
Oh,
not
yeah.
late coming on to improv. You've actually been doing it a while. And so tell us more about your improv journey, how you got started in it, and why you keep at it, and why you now have a business in it.
Yeah, excited to answer this question. I started doing improv when I was like 10. My parents have always been so supportive of all of my artistic endeavors until I think I got into college and was like, I'm going to be a theater major. And they were like, wait, what? And I was like, what did you expect? You've been way too supportive. This is on you. Um, but they were always very supportive. And so I was just doing only child shit and, being dramatic, wanting attention. And so they put me into like two simultaneous summer camps. They put me in one that was for musical theater and one that was for improv. And so I
Awesome.
fell in love with both at the same time. Yeah, it was great. Just like a week-long camp. And I was like, this is what I want to do with my life,
This is
which
it.
is
Yeah.
a crazy thing for a 10-year-old to say, right? And I think my parents thought that was going to be a phase and it wasn't. So yeah, I had the pleasure of doing that, and Tracy Martin Shearer was my teacher, and then I just got kind of lucky from there. This is Tormund.
Hi, Tormund. Yes,
He's
we got some fellow guests, kitties in the
yeah.
background who might make some appearances.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do to stop them. They
No,
run this house, not me. But yeah, so I got lucky. There were just more opportunities. Sutter Street Theater, which used to be Stage Nine, and Garbo's here in Folsom, California, which is nearby. They had opportunities for me. They had like improv classes and musical theater classes, so I kept doing those. Then when I was 15, I started doing this other improv group. I uh that was mostly adults and then two other teens. It was kind of wild.
that
Legally,
is
I think not
wild.
advisable. I benefited from them making bad decisions. And I did like John Robert Powers when I was a kid, and they had improv classes and just like a bunch of different improv stuff. So I kept doing it. And then because I have only child audacity, when I was 17, it was time to do my senior project. And I was like, what can I do? And I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll start an improv group and we'll have rehearsals, I'll have auditions, and then we'll have a performance. And
What?
so, yeah, so I approached my teacher. Like, I look back at this, I'm like, what the, like, what? She was so gutsy.
She was so
Um,
bold. I love it.
yeah, no one was telling her no, which is great. Young me was crazy. But so I reached out to the person who taught me at Sutter Street Theater and Garbo's and was like, would you mentor me through this? And he was like, yeah, totally. If you come intern for me.
Yes, and
I was like, absolutely, I'll come intern for you. So that's when I started learning how to teach improv, was by shadowing him when I was 17. And so at this point in time, they let me, like, they're so generous. They let me use the theater. They let me use upstairs for rehearsals. Like, in retrospect, so incredibly generous. And
very.
we were
Yeah.
able to have this like show and rehearsals in the theater. And so we were called Juvenile Delinquents. And we did, I
Perfect.
think, 3 shows. Yeah, we had 2 practices a week. Like, it was crazy.
Improv troupe at 17. That's
Yeah.
really impressive.
Yeah. I was like, I have the knowledge and authority to do this. Like, wild, right? I think I was like VP of drama club in high school, and I taught improv there as well.
That
Um,
tracks. I feel like that
yeah.
tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
All the
doing whatever.
leadership.
I
Yeah.
know. And then I went to college. Not a whole lot of opportunities for improv at my college, unfortunately. I did start running like a little improv club. Um, and then
Interesting. So it was theater, acting, very drama based, or was there some comedy focus,
yes,
just not improv?
there was there was comedy focus in that, like some of the scripted stuff that we did was comedic, but there was, and
Right.
most drama teachers use improv exercises for things, but there was no improv classes, which is kind of wild because I went to a CSUS, which is it's a university, and they didn't have any improv classes, any formal improv training, but the local community college did and does.
Oh,
So it's,
good.
yeah, I agree. In my opinion, I could go on a huge ramble about this, but I think that improv as an art is just really underappreciated in the theater scene in particular, um, which is
Yes.
wild because I think people use it as a crutch a lot because it's actually
Yeah.
really challenging and an art form in its own right. Anyway, so no improv in college, but I did join Comedy Sports in Sacramento back when there was one.
Oh,
And that
fun.
really, yeah, that really propelled me forward, I think. I did classes, I did some stuff at Comedy Spot. I graduated from college. And again, I was like, you know what I should do? I should start my own sketch comedy group. Like,
As a young 20 something should, right?
I seriously, I was 22 years old. I was like, let me start this thing that I have no knowledge of or experience in. And so I did that. That ran for several years. It was called That Plus Chips. I started like an improv
Nice.
program through that as well and took that out of Comedy Sports. And then from there, I started a nonprofit called Empire Arts Collective in 2015 and took a break from doing improv for quite a while. And then eventually brought it back around. I realized I wanted to, like, after the pandemic, I was like, I miss improv and I want to get back to my improv roots. So I started
Nice.
Sharks Barksley, started an improv program out of Empire, and then, yeah.
Now you're here at House of Comedy. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that, and I know nothing is ever linear. Like we had a guest on here also from camp who said, when you ask the journey question, like it all seems linear when you like put it together, but it's never that linear when you're in the moment doing
Totally.
it. And so I'm sure it didn't feel linear, but now looking back, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense that I was doing all these leadership things and like creating stuff, putting stuff out there. So it all tracks that have your own business. You're a business owner and actual like brick and mortar theater coming soon, which is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's wild. I think I felt really scared of doing a whole actual brick and mortar thing, and I avoided it for a long time because I was like, that sounds terrifying. And I was right.
Yep, there's a lot of fires to put out almost every day, I think, as a business owner. And then like brick and mortar, like actual place of business is just adds so many other variables too.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. But it's rewarding for sure. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, this is a lot.
Well, tell me, you're a business owner and like have done a ton of things like in the improv business world with either applied improv or teaching improv classes. Do you use the skills of improv as a business owner?
Yeah, I think so. I think possibly less so than I should be, but like I would like to be a little bit more flexible. I think I'm trying to do that more. But I think, yes, like the level of active listening, of sort of like creative ideation is required in improv, is something that I try to bring to the table a lot when it comes to business. I think empathy is more central to my business approach and philosophy than it is to a lot of other business owners. It's tough because it's like you are running a business. We are a for-profit. Even in a nonprofit setting, there are times when you have to think pragmatically, and that's not always
Right.
necessarily compatible with making choices that stem purely from empathy. And so, but I think that having empathy for the people in your community and the people that you work with is a way to sort of, it doesn't always work out this way, but it is definitely a way to cultivate relationships that are more meaningful and more connective. So I think that is something I've learned from improv. And it's something that I continue to learn through teaching, because I think the longer you do improv, the more you're like, oh yeah, this skill is pretty accessible. It's pretty easy to obtain, but it's not. Like improv is hard to do. And, I continue being reminded that as a, do you have something to add?
That was like perfect timing. The cat just popped up right underneath you.
He did.
Yes, anything to add? Please tell us more.
Anything to add? He's purring. He's purring so much. He's like, this is fine.
He said, yes, and leads all business decisions.
Okay, please. You're on the table. Please go. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Using improv in your business.
Yes.
I could definitely see your mission statement for House of Comedy, I think, is really inclusive and accessible. I do have it in my notes because I was going to reference it. So it says, our mission is to empower people of all backgrounds to play, grow, and connect through inclusive, high-quality comedy and performance experiences, cultivating laughter, creativity, and community in a vibrant space where joy and personal growth thrive. I just want to live in that space. Like I want to be there all the time, a place like that has a mission like that. And I don't think definitely not every business and in even every theater has that inclusivity piece. This day and age, they're trying to, but it doesn't always happen. And it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge shout out to my co-owners, Andy Soroyan and Nick Armstrong, for writing that statement with me. And that was definitely a group effort, and they had a lot of really incredible insight. But yeah, I think it's like a constant, like it's aspirational. We're constantly trying to be inclusive. There are so many barriers to creating an inclusive space. And so we're always trying to navigate those. I think one of the reasons that I founded Empire Arts Collective back in 2015 with my co-founder, Emily Perez, was that we were both, she came from a music background and I came from a theater and comedy background. And so we had both been in these spaces where we were excluded or we experienced really problematic behavior in these sort of settings. I mean, performing arts of any kind can be, and improv is no exception to this, can be a very vulnerable space for a lot of people to be in because understandably, a lot of people want to get involved. And so people who are in positions of power can kind of take advantage in worst case scenario, or even just in less drastic ways, they can just sort of wave away any objections or feedback that people have.
Yeah, so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sure, like, again, it's aspirational. I'm sure that it's hard to feel feedback, and so it's hard to parse that out. But I think being receptive to it and trying to proactively think about like how we can avoid those pitfalls and how we can build a space that is not like that. Those are some, I hope, positive steps in that direction. But we benefit a lot from the community of people that we have around us who have a lot of like wisdom in this way that we can learn from.
I remember kind of asking you this, and I'm going to ask you this anyway on the podcast so everyone can hear it, but you've done theater in school. Did you ever have any aspirations of leaving Sacramento? Or I remember you said like you just love Sacktown, like that's your space. But did you ever leave, or you just love Sacramento and I really love how you're building the arts there and like being an advocate for it.
Yeah, I did have aspirations to leave Sacramento at a few different points, but not really. Because I love it here. And I think I was like, I want to go to this place where the opportunities are. At one point I was like, okay, I'll probably have to move to New York at some point. At one point I seriously considered a move to LA.
Yeah.
But then I met a boy and I was like, just kidding, I'll stay here. And Chicago at one point as well. These are all places that I considered moving to. But ultimately, I think being like, just kidding with that boy as an example was just like, I did not actually want to move. I didn't actually want to move. I love Sacramento. I'm just very much like a homebody. I love setting down roots. My whole family is here. And so I love being around them. I love seeing how the city moves and grows. I love the history of this place. It's just very cool.
Yeah.
I love it here. I think it's ideal for me. And what I realized I actually wanted was just to create the spaces that I wasn't seeing here.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I want this in the place that I love and I'm not seeing it. And so, yes, and let's create it. Why not? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll stress test and do all the actual work that comes with owning a business, but let's create something that we're not seeing. I love that. I've been to Sacramento quite a few times. In my previous job, I had a lot of Sacramento clients. I had to travel there and I went to a few improv shows. Like there's a decent little improv scene there that's growing and you are adding to it, which is awesome. It's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it is great because Sacramento, it's had a reputation historically as like a cow town. We're just in the city alone. Like when people talk about Sacramento, they're usually talking about the whole county. There's a lot of, sprawl. But just in the city alone, we're over 500,000 people. So I'm like, that's a lot of people. And there's already an incredible improv community here, thanks to places like Sacramento Comedy Spot, Stab Comedy, Black Stab Comedy back in the day, Comedy Sports back in the day. And so there's already a cool improv community here. And then, improv warriors in the Sacramento scene are recruiting more people to the cult of improv, which bravo. So, our community is always growing and changing, which is awesome. And I hope gradually becoming more inclusive. I'm seeing that a lot lately in SAC, which is very cool. Yeah. So anyway, all that to say that I hope we can add to the scene because I think there are some things that are missing here that we can add. But we are very lucky to have such a cool group of people here who are dedicated to and interested in improv.
Yeah, don't sleep on Sacktown. All right, don't sleep on them.
No.
There's some funny, creative people everywhere, and they don't just have to be in LA or Chicago or New York.
Mm-mm.
There's humor and creativity everywhere, which I
True.
love too. Because I mean, I just moved from LA, which had a ton of improv opportunities there. And, I moved to Charlotte, which I think is also a huge sprawl metro area. And there are improv opportunities here. And I like going to camp too, because you get to meet people from all over and you actually get to
Yeah.
see like the spread of improv. And the improv cult is doing their job, right? We're spreading the good word
Yes.
of improv, which for anyone, like, we are joking, although maybe not, we're half joking.
I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like improv is spreading to the smaller markets, so to speak. And I think that's awesome because it becomes more accessible for everyone. You don't have to move to New York, Chicago, or LA to get some really high value improv teachers and improv classes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it is becoming more accessible. I'm excited about things like Dropout or even things like TikTok or like YouTube that are kind of like spreading the gospel of improv so people can see, how joyful it is and how cool it is. And it's getting people more and more excited, I think, about it. I don't have any research that proves my assertion, but that's what I would
I think,
assume.
the feeling in your gut that says we're going in the right direction, I think is all we need to
Yeah.
continue, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wait, Jessilee, let me ask you about your public speaking experience because obviously you teach classes, you teach and coach improv teams, and you also do some workplace and team building sessions, applied improv sessions, and such. Have you always liked public speaking? I guess, as a theater person, someone who enjoyed being in the spotlight, did public speaking come naturally to you, or did you have to learn to love it?
It came naturally to me because I'm an only child with only child audacity.
I didn't get that only child audacity in public speaking, at least.
Yeah, I was like, you definitely got some of it, but yeah, it was different for you.
Well, it took a while to find it. Maybe it was like hidden under layers of shyness.
Yeah.
But I think finding safe spaces to share my story and see other people doing it was like, oh, okay. Like I can kind of break out of the comfort zone, but I was terrible at public speaking. But I also wasn't a theater only child. I was a sports
Yeah.
only child. And
Yeah.
so different journey there. But I love that. So any kind of opportunity to be on stage, you're like, oh, I'm in. Let's do it. Right.
Yeah. I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, I think like I did develop more shyness later, which is weird, but
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it is interesting to see how that evolved for me. Like I was I don't know how I got this, but around when I started being in middle school, I like didn't have really many friends. I had a really hard time in elementary school, as only children can sometimes. Did you have a hard time in elementary school?
I don't know. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
I mean,
have
I
to
think that
answer that.
answers that.
Sorry.
I don't know. No, I think I was such a people pleaser because I wanted friends. And
Yeah.
so that's where the people pleasing comes in of just like I'll do anything to be your friend. And my parents were very supportive. Maybe this is in elementary school, but like middle school, my parents were very supportive of like play dates and also like sleepovers and, like always going over to someone's house. And I think that works well, but sometimes it doesn't, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of drama in teenager sleepovers too.
True.
Um, but they also were very, and sorry, we're getting off track, but my parents would let me have sleepovers with 10 friends over. We did not have a large house. So like 10 teenage girls over,
Oh my
sleeping
gosh.
over. And I think about that now. I have a 1-year-old and I'm like, my parents, how? Like, I don't think I can do that. Like, I don't think my daughter will
Dude,
have this opportunity. I don't think we can have 10 girls. So I don't want that responsibility. And
10 is a
also I want to
lot.
sleep. I don't know. It's a lot. So they were very supportive of me having friends and at whatever cost.
Yeah, at any cost. Yeah, that is really cool. That is nice. Yeah, for some reason, when I got to middle school, I feel like I remember this specific turning point when a friend of mine was like, I really like the way that you dress and like I love your sense of self because you're very like independent and very like unique and individual. And I was like, whoa, okay, no one has ever told me that before. Maybe she's right. And like that kind of started permeating a lot of my identity. It was like, maybe I am unique and maybe that is cool. And I had a lot of very supportive friends who were also very weird. So getting exposed to more weirdos, I was like, okay, it can be fun to be weird. And that continued in high school. So by the time high school rolled around, I was wearing whatever the fuck I wanted. Like I
Perfect.
was like hippie skirts, like these big flowing kind of like goth things. I was wearing cloaks. Like I was wearing whatever I wanted to do. I was wearing weird shit. Yeah, and a lot of people were just like, "Don't you?" Even including my dad, because he, I think, was worried about me being bullied. He was just like, "Aren't you worried about being bullied?" And I was like, "Nope. If they bully me, they're not going to. Or if they do, I'll just tell them to get lost." Like it wasn't an issue,
Yeah.
which is nice. There wasn't really violence at my school, so I guess I had that privilege. But yeah, I think I was like that for a while. I was like, I don't give a shit what other people think. Like I'm
I
never,
love that.
yeah. And I think that kind of started around the age of 16. Something in my frontal lobe was like, wait, maybe you should, which is unfortunate. But
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love that, like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to dress how I want. And, it only takes one interaction with somebody to be like, you're weird and you look weird. And then, like, you're traumatized for a while and have this whole conflict.
yeah,
And you had the opposite of, like, someone was like, I love how you dress and you're so unique. And, like, you just don't care what, like, you're just you. And that kind of, at least for a while,
yeah,
like kind of brought you into this unique period of like, I don't care and I'm going to be me, authentically me. That's awesome. So the power of words, right? Like we have the
yeah,
power to enhance and compliment people and bring joy to their lives, and we have the power to bring them down. And so we
yeah.
need to use them wisely.
Yeah, that's really well
Yeah.
said because sometimes I think stuff, I don't know about you, but stuff comes to me slowly, like these revelations about my childhood. And I'm like, what you said is true. There were some moments in my life where someone just said something simple and that impacted my entire life. And I still remember it to this day. And so now, I do teach kids a lot and I teach a lot of improv to kids. And I do need to remember that, like, I have a lot of if their childhood improv experiences are anything like mine, every can you let me have the spotlight? He's like, nom, nom.
I know. We're saying something very serious, and then the cat is
I know.
like looking up, like, like,
Doing weird mouth stuff. Anyway, you could change people's lives, whatever.
meow, 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 meow.
Yum, 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 yum. Such a weirdo.
Oh my gosh. Jessilee, I want to take the quickest of breaks here,
Yeah.
and we'll let Tormund have more of the spotlight when we come back.
Right.
But I also want to talk about the theater, House of Comedy more, and all of the things. So we'll be right back. All right, and welcome back. We are talking with Jessilee Windhaus all about improv, being only children, and I hope all the only childs listening are just like, oh, yes, I feel seen. We're talking about all about improv and Sacktown, Sacramento, whatever you want to call it. And we've got more to chat about. Also, on the break, we got to talk with Tormund a little bit more too, but he has
Mhm.
since left. He got bored with the interview, and maybe he'll be back. We'll see. Jessilee, I want to kind of reminisce for a second. So I've mentioned I was up in Sacramento a bunch. I had a lot of client meetings or like client health fairs. I had to attend a lot of health fairs in my previous job, which I will save the rant, but I hated health fairs, like going to them. But I had to
Yeah.
go to them. But I never minded going to Sacramento. I always enjoyed it. But anyway, I was up in Sacramento for a week, and then I had to look back at the timeline, but it was back in 2023. And we were able to get dinner, And then I got to go and attend one of your Improv 101 classes that had just started. It was like the first class of Improv 101 for, I think it was Empire Arts Collective, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was so much fun. And I was just thinking back to our dinner, and we were talking about our business dreams, about going full time in our business, having time to focus on the business and just like put it all out there. And I want to say that was like September or October 2023. So flash forward 2 years later, look at us having this
Right?
conversation that's being recorded now. And I'm asking you all about your brick and mortar business that is coming soon to Sacramento. How cool
On
is
your
that? How cool is
podcast,
that?
which is awesome. Yeah, we're
Right?
crushing it. Yeah. Woof. Good for us.
I know. Like if past 2 year selves could see us now, right? We're doing the thing.
We are doing the thing. Yeah, honestly, like when I was looking through the list of questions you sent, I was like, oh man, this is a good reminder because I think I have the tendency to think that what's happening now is forever, or like any problem I'm having, I'm like, oh, I'm stuck in this problem forever. But it is useful to remember that no, like just a year ago, I was in a completely different scenario. And 2 years ago, things were even more different. And so it is, I do feel proud of myself for what I've accomplished and proud of our community for what we've done together.
Yeah. I'm laughing at I tend to feel like I'm stuck in this forever because when I get sick, either a cold or just not feeling well, maybe for a week, I'm like, I'm forever going to be this way and I'm just never going to feel better. And it's going to affect my life for the rest of my life. Like I'm going to have to deal with this issue. I get very dramatic with sicknesses. And I usually make a full recovery, but I just resonate with that. Like when I'm in it, like it feels like it's permanent.
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
And it's not. And I mean, you're crushing it. Like you submitted for, I called it a local grant, but so it was a local business incubation program, and it was called the Downtown Sacramento Partnership. And tell me more about that. It was a long process. There's a lot that you had to do with it.
Yeah. So Downtown Sacramento Partnership does this annual business incubation program called Calling All Dreamers. And I'd heard about it because I have a few friends who went through that program and won, which is really cool. Yeah. And so I think it's been like years. I think I first heard about it in 2019 and I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that one day because of only child audacity. And so it was a really intense program. I really enjoyed it, honestly, because I love a challenge. So I was like, ooh, it was very fun. It was intense. You apply, you go through the application process, and then you wait for them to announce people. And I got selected and I was like, whoa. Yeah. And it was, I was one of 10 like semifinalists. And I don't know how many applicants there were. I know that there were over 50. That's all I know. Wow. They said it was like a lot of people who applied. So I'm like, oh, I wish I could know what that number was so I can know how impressed with myself to be. So
you made it in the top 10. That's incredible.
Woo! Yeah. So from there, I got to meet all the other semifinalists and just meeting them was so inspiring because there are so many different businesses. First of all, incredibly diverse group of people, just in terms of their experiences, their ethnicities, the types of businesses. It was really exciting and a lot of women in the competition. And I was like, oh, this is so refreshing. And so it was really cool. And some of these entrepreneurs were in the startup phase, like very startup, but a lot of them had already put in a lot of hard work and had built these really incredible enterprises already. So that was really inspiring and intimidating in a good way because I was like, okay, like time to step it up. So from there, we're like attending all these workshops, learning about all this different stuff. They called them like boot camps. We had all these tours we were going on. We had a mentor that we were assigned and we did some like media appearances. And then during this sort of preliminary phase, our mentor was helping us to refine our business plan. So that was the first step, was like refining the business plan. And from there, like at the end of that process, they were going to select 5 finalists. to move forward, with the understanding that every finalist wins at least $5,000 if they sign a lease
Ooh.
in Old Sacramento, or in the downtown Sacramento Partnership served territory within a year of that program ending. And so I was like, even just being a finalist would be amazing because of the connections, the opportunities, the money, and the support you get from DSP is just phenomenal. They're an incredible organization. So, sent in my business plan. You have to do 3 years of projections. And so, yeah, it was a lot.
Just a lot.
Yes. And there's a lot of moving parts, especially when you're a business like ours that has to have a lot of different revenue streams in order to keep the lights on, because, performing arts are not lucrative, but had to prove that it would be lucrative.
You mean improv shows don't bring in a ton of money? What? Really?
Oh, man.
$5 tickets? It doesn't keep the lights on?
I could go on a huge rant about this. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. I had to wait and found out that I was selected as a finalist, and I was like, hell yeah, this is very exciting. The other finalists were very cool. I was definitely, I would say, unique among all of them because I was the only experience-based business amongst all of the semifinalists. And, they kind of like, everyone was very intrigued by our idea because people were like, improv and also experience-based businesses are very impactful to the local economies because people will come to see a show. They'll come and, go to a restaurant before or after or both. They'll, spend money on parking. They're, going to the shops around the area. If they're traveling from out of town, they stay in a hotel. Like, they're providing so much economic stimulation to the surrounding businesses that an entertainment business is very valuable.
Useful, yeah. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. There is a whole, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the name of the organization, but there is an organization that did an arts and economic impact report, and it was really lots of really useful data that shows just how impactful arts are in their local economies. It's crazy. So, I was mostly just trying to be like, look, I'm a really good investment. Like, this business is an incredible investment because of the surrounding impacts, as one of many reasons to support our business. So from there, not only do we have to continue refining our business plan, we had to, provide an updated video at that point, I think, maybe earlier. And then we had to do, more media appearances and a final pitch to the selection committee, 15-minute pitch deck. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds intense because
it was intense.
High stakes. Yeah. So there's money on the line for that.
Yes. And it's just to a room full of business people who are all like, very serious. And I was like, I don't know these people. Yeah. Like, I know that even people in the performing arts community don't take improv seriously. So I had to try to prove the value of our business to them. And I was really nervous for that presentation. I knew that I had an advantage though, because I was like, I'm a performer. So I knew that, and then thankfully, like, our team of leadership, me, Nick, and Andy, we have a combined 7 years of experience. So I was like, we're, a winning combo. Yeah. So then I had to wait several torturous weeks to learn whether or not I won. And we won runner-up, which was really exciting. And so
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. The winner was Pitador Brews, and they, I think, are opening in the fall. 2 really, really cool people. So excited for them.
It's a coffee shop, right?
They do coffee, mead, beer, wine. Yeah, just any kind of brew, which is very cool.
That's neat. Yeah. It looked like I was kind of doing the research. It looked at like other restaurants and stuff. So it was cool that you were the kind of outlier in the experience-based business. It seemed like a long process, which I think it was, like, at least over the course of many months, because I remember you posting in the camp groups that we're in, like, hey, I'm doing this thing and can I get your vote? So it took a lot of, I'd say, fundraising or like crowd raising to like get people to vote for you and like get interested in this thing. And like, it's easy to do one video or like one ask and be like, okay, I asked, but you have to ask a lot for that kind of stuff. It's exhausting.
Yes. Yeah, it was exhausting. Our community really came through for us. I was pretty astounded. I was like, damn, this is a lot. Like, I hate asking people for money. It's one of my like
Yeah.
biggest struggles as a business owner because I think I just have such a specific relationship with money. And I think everyone has different relationships with money. But yeah, it's so hard for me to do that. So the fact that people were giving, I was just like, oh my God, it was really lovely to see. But yeah, we had to do that. We had to do a public vote. We got the most votes by far of
What?
anyone.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Very
Thanks,
lucky.
camp. Thanks, camp friends.
Yeah, huge shout out to all the camp people because I'm like, they really came through. And I mean, the local improv community as well. So yeah, very
Awesome.
lucky. Yeah. Another reason camp is so cool.
Yeah, it is because you're like, hey, I'm doing this thing, and people recognize it's like, oh my gosh, yes, and let's help. How can we help? How can
Yeah.
we make sure this is a success for you? Like the more you succeed, the more improv succeeds, and then the more inspiring it is for them because I feel like people who go to camp, there's always like, oh, I wish I could do this or do this more, and so the more stuff that is available, the more that
Yeah.
they can do, right?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I really hope that's how people experience it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And just having like a 3-year business plan, I'm like, oh, and I get brick and mortar is a different beast and just like having rent and utilities and all these monthly costs. But
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. I imagine it was like a crash business course, like mini business degree almost like that you had to get in order to qualify for this program. And I know 15K sounds like a lot, and it's it goes a little ways with
Yeah.
the operating costs.
It is remarkable how quickly like that money, I mean, yeah, even just getting like the liquor license that we need was like
Oh yeah.
$26,000. So, I mean, and that's just the
What?
liquor license. Yeah, yeah. So it was like, yeah, we immediately had to spend that,
Oh my
And
gosh, I
there's
didn't
so many
know
other
this.
costs. Yeah. Yeah, just to open is like 100K,
Right. Well, and I'm like, of course it is, but so that's like the lease and just I like that. That's insane.
Yeah,
But it makes
it's a
sense. It's
lot.
just insane.
It is. It's a lot. And like, there's a lot I could say about it. And yeah, it was good to learn all that stuff. Honestly, like, I could not have done it without my mentor. He was incredibly helpful. Mark Siegman is his name. And yeah, he knows his shit. So he was very helpful in helping me with the projections. But doing financial projections is weird because you're just like, I hope this is how this is going to go. Like these feel like
Yes,
conservative
and
estimates. Yeah. And then you have to sell it like, yeah, this is definitely what's going to happen. And I mean, they know that, but it's like a aspirational. Yeah, I tried to channel every cishet white man that I know and be like, this is for sure fucking happening. Money, please. That's what I was trying to channel.
put on the white man character, like the overconfident male character. I've got this, and this is
Yeah.
exactly. We're going to raise millions of dollars, and yeah,
Yep. But not too confident, right? Because then you
Right.
seem like a bitch.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Tell me about your co-owners, Nick and Andy. I mean, I know
Yes.
Nick. He's been on the podcast. He's founder of Camp Improv Utopia, also a Sacktown native. So I understand why he got involved too. He wants to see the arts grow there. How is it working with these 3 different people with different perspectives and stuff? So how do you all handle your meetings and like vision of the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, Nick and Andy are both awesome. We work really well together, I think. Like we do come from different improv backgrounds. All of us have done all different kinds of improv, but I come from more of a short form background. I think that short form is really underappreciated in the improv scene, and that's another rant that I could go on.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm sure you've talked about Nick's background or he's talked about it on your show, but he has like a very sort of prestigious background. He's trained with Groundlings. He was on their Sunday team.
Yeah.
He's done IO. He was artistic director over at West Side Comedy. Obviously, he founded Improv Utopia. He runs Rise. So like he really knows his shit. His background is mostly long form. He's definitely a long form person. And he's very pragmatic too, I would say. Andy, his background is primarily long form. He's done short form as well, obviously, but like he has a very artistic approach to improv, which I love and I don't see enough of. He is a playwright and an actor. He mainly came up through Bats in San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
Bats, Unscripted Theater. There's one more, Improv Works. And so he's very serious about the craft of improv. Don't get me wrong, he's like a very laid back and like supportive and hilarious guy, but he is serious about it. It's an art form. And I think what the three of us really, I mean, there's a lot of things that we resonate together on, but I think that we all really see improv as an art form, and we value like a diverse array of lenses through which to see improv. And we really believe that like exposing yourself to as many types of improv, schools of thought, forms as possible, and being serious about it is like the right way to approach it. And we all have a respect for the acting aspect of improv, which I think a lot of improvisers shy away from because it's scary. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your vision for House of Comedy? Obviously, first opening the doors, getting that.
Yeah.
But, assuming all that goes well, and that happens soon, and, you get the doors open and you have your 3-year plan, but like, where do you see it 5 years, 10 years down the road? And then where do you see your role? Do you want to be teaching? You want to keep teaching, or take a step back from that and kind of lead it? What's your vision?
Yeah, I think my vision for it, I really do just want it to be a place where different voices, like voices that we're not used to being centered in our community, are centered.
Nice.
I know a lot of different folks have spoken to me about having challenges with being taken seriously. I really don't want that to be a thing at House of Comedy. And I know that Nick and Andy and I are all aligned on that. And, I really want it to be a place where improv is approached as a serious art form. Obviously, like, still fun and still a lot of levity, still a place for joy. And we still want there to be plenty of opportunities for folks who just want to do it for silly, just to have fun. Yeah. Not because they're like, this is my whole thing. But yeah, I think that's absolutely what we want to do. So I'm really hoping that we, in 5 years down the road, we have a lot of really high quality shows that prioritize that art form, in multiple different art forms, whether that's clown or drag, sketch, improv, just like with a focus on quality over quantity, and just teams of performers who are really dedicated to not only like the art of it, but also ensuring that their own communities under the branch of House of Comedy are inclusive, are welcoming, are supportive, and no one feels like excluded or no one feels not comfortable, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And then I think after that, like, I would love to gradually I have many things that I want to do in life. I think a younger me would have been like, yeah, I want to do this forever and ever. But like, I think I love how much my life has shifted and evolved. And so I would love to like eventually not have to be so hands-on. I would love to empower other people to be in positions of leadership as well. We are aware that we're 3 white people. Like, I would love to empower people of other backgrounds to be in positions of leadership. Just, I understand that not everyone's willing to take the leap, be hella broke for 3 years, making a silly haha theater. And then, like, not everyone's willing to enter things at that stage. But yeah, like being in a position of power where I can empower other people to experience that would be rad.
I'm laughing because at many things, being broke for 3 years, hopefully it's only 3 years and even shorter than that. We'll dream big. But also I'm laughing because in the past 3 minutes, you've said improv is a serious art form, or that's your goal, is to make improv a serious art form. And then you also called it a silly haha theater too, right? Which I know you were like making a joke. And that's how people see it. Oh, you opened a theater about improv. But I love the mission of it. It's, yeah, like improv is a serious, fun art form, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can be taken seriously, even though it is, it gets pushed to the side a little bit of just being like, oh, yes, and whose line is it anyway? Everyone knows that, we've all
Yeah.
heard about it. But I mean, for me, just taking improv classes is life changing. I mean, it changed everything. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have a business called Improvly Speaking without it, right?
Yeah.
And it is such a game changer, life changer for many people who just sign up for Improv 101, and
Yeah.
take that leap of taking classes. So it's awesome that you will be an asset to the community now to do that. And
Yeah.
I love the other ideas, clown and drag and sketch. Ooh, how fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, some things are really challenging to produce. Like they're very time and resource
Yeah.
consuming. So like I think, but there's so much
Yeah.
drag here in Sacramento. We already have a drag group that we're talking to.
Yeah.
And very excited to highlight a lot of drag kings because weirdly drag kings are marginalized within the drag community. So giving them like a platform, like they're like marginalized within a marginalized community. It's kind of wild. So giving them a platform will be really exciting.
Jessilee, I just put out an episode recently, my own solo episode, talking about how uncertainty is my friend, and it was
Mm.
kind of an update, a life update, things that have been going on, and then with the move. I mean, I've
Yeah.
basically had the past 2 to 3 years have been very uncertain, right? With like
Yeah.
pregnancy and then having my child, and like, will I be a good parent? Will she be an only child? I don't know. How will the move go? All the things. And I've just been thinking about this a lot. And so it's a question that's coming up in multiple interviews. And there's something to it, like this relationship with uncertainty. And I think improv and doing improv regularly gives us a better relationship with uncertainty. And you as a business owner, you've taken on a lot of risk now. Like you just said, it be broke for 3 years and for this, and I, it's a lot of risk. It's one, debt, but also like time and resources and energy. And it's all in an uncertain future. We don't know the path that this leads and
Yeah.
the success that this will have, right? And hopefully it's positive. We just don't know. And so, how do you deal with all this uncertainty? You are at a
And
very uncertain phase of your life. And how do you handle, what's your relationship with uncertainty right now?
yeah, this is such a good question. I was thinking a lot about this when I read this question. Uncertainty is really, really tough. I think that my relationship with uncertainty, like I try to fight it, I think. Like I think I'm a really in most ways. In some ways I am avoidant. I've been realizing about myself, but like in most ways I like to be really proactive about uncertainty unless it's like something that's kind of inconsequential. But that's how I normally am. I like to just like do something about it, but it's really tough to do that when there are so many moving parts. There's only so much I can control, right? And
Mhm.
so this like running a business at this level, I think that number one, I would really like to thank my medications because they're incredibly helpful. Um, I do have anxiety and depression, so like props to my meds because it would be
Thank
really
you,
hard to
meds.
get through stuff. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
meds.
science, for creating these meds. Yeah.
Truly, yeah, seriously. And number two, I think that this is not something that a younger me would have been able to handle, but this is my third business. So I think now I have sort of a little cache of experiences that I can pull upon where I
Yeah.
remember feeling, oh my God, this is the end of the world. And, sometimes I barely remember those things anymore. And so I'm able to sort of zoom way out now and say, okay, there was a time where this experience felt like it was all consuming and like it was rock bottom or like it was really, really hard. And now it's like barely a thought in my brain. It's just an experience I can pull on. And so
Right.
this is probably that, like it's probably that. And if it's not, then it's not. There's nothing I can do, you know? So I think that's like something that's come a little bit more with experience is being able to know the difference between I don't know. Nothing, it's an improv business. Nothing is catastrophic. And I think that's been really useful. I think, yeah, I don't know how else to handle uncertainty. Just breathing through it, like blabbing at people, talking to people, finding like recentering myself. Anytime I go see a really good improv show or I have a really fun class session and I see people learning improv for the first time, or I spend time with my performance groups, especially Sharks Barksley, it recenters me to be like, okay, like I feel like I'm running on fumes, but I actually have more gas in the tank now to keep fighting.
I love everything you just said. It's like you get through it. I won't say push through it because that feels like forcing, but you breathe through it, you move through it, you take action, and that's all you can do. And how it unfolds is how it unfolds.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can only control so much, but you've taken amazing steps to make this business a success, and it will be. However it unfolds, it will be. And I just can't wait to see how it unfolds. You can come back on the podcast in 3 years and you'll be like, it's amazing. Business is amazing. It's going great. So
Yeah.
we can dream big that way.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, we've got a really cool community of people behind us. And I think that it's challenging. And let's be honest, this is a really challenging time to start a business because the world is on fire. But,
Correct. Yep.
I think that like joy and community is something we really need right now, which probably sounds like a soundbite, but it's legitimately very true. So, yeah, I'm hoping that this will continue to be more valuable the more we keep going.
Jessilee, you're very busy right now, running a theater, running a business, teaching, coaching. Are you doing a lot of applied stuff, or is it mostly like theater focused right now? Are you doing any like team building workplace sessions still?
I haven't been doing those much lately, partially because when Andy joined the company, he's heading up that sort of branch of our business, which is really rad. He has an incredible amount of experience doing that. And so he's a rock star. So I'm doing less applied stuff lately. And that's not, yeah, like I think I did a lot of team building for a while, a lot of pros and cons. I did a lot of team building with a company where like it was mandatory for people to attend, and that was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm fine chilling on team building for a bit. So it's mostly teaching like for performance. But, when people are taking a 101 class or I'm teaching kidlets who knows if they'll ever do improv again, I do like to center the practical aspects of it. So like real life aspects of improv that are applied.
For sure, yeah. And are you doing any other creative outlets? I know, do you have time? Are you dabbling in anything else creatively that's kind of keeping you afloat? It's something different than improv. And it's okay if you're not.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, no, not really. It is all consuming at this point. I have very little free time. But when I do have free time, I am doing like D&D. I'm hanging out with friends. I used to write a lot. I don't really do that as much anymore, but that might be something that I return to later in life. Who knows? Life is long, I think. Fingers crossed.
I like that. I like that perspective. Life is long and you're in the thick of it. You're in the shit right now.
Yeah.
You're like going through it, like business wise, like you are just, it's a lot. So I understand not having any other outlets right now because all the time and resources. There's a song by, I think it's Ben Armstrong. I'm blanking on the title of it, but the main chorus is, I've never been worse, but I've never been better.
Yeah.
And I always think of that. I hear it a lot. It comes on like my Spotify and I feel that one a lot. Like, never been worse, but I've never been better too.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is. Yeah. I'm sure you like are experiencing this a lot. It's a labor of love. It is still a labor and love doesn't really pay. So for me, it's like most of my time is dedicated to working on this business, going out and doing things for the business and working at my desk and then doing other stuff in the meantime to pay the bills, So I'm working like 12 or 13-hour days and, people but I prioritize sleep. I like can't do things without sleep and like having good meals. So I can't do that. I can't sacrifice that, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs
Good.
do. But yeah,
Yeah.
like
Good
free
self-care.
time. But yeah, we're in the shit, baby. I do think it's like, but I'm like, if we didn't have this, then what are we going to romanticize when we're talking to Time Magazine, right?
Exactly. Right. I mean, you're in the hero's journey. You're in that part where you're like going through the mud and about to push
Yeah.
the boulder up. I don't know. I'm
Yeah. I
whatever.
love that story where someone crawls through mud and then pushes a boulder up. I love that one.
Right. Yeah. Of course. It's like, timeless classic of the boulder hero. Right.
Love that one.
And that's you. That's you, Jessilee. You are
I'm the Boulder hero.
Boulder hero.
Thank you so much.
So
thank you.
we will chat after you talk with Time Magazine. We will chat again on this podcast for part 2,
Great.
follow up after you've pushed the boulder up the hill and everything's perfect and rainbows and butterflies at that, because that's what's awaiting for us.
Yeah, I am sure that it is. And please don't tell me otherwise. I can't handle that information.
I know. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Last question for you, Jessilee. And I end this with all of our guests. And we've already talked about it, but I'll have you kind of summarize it or say it in a different way. Yes and mindset is also a growth mindset. And how do you embody a yes and or growth mindset in your life?
I like to do weird shit in public. Right. That like life's the good parts in life. Like when I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to be looking back and like the things I'm going to be remembering are not the times that I'm working, but I'm going to be remembering like times with loved ones, including my friends and family and my community. And I'm going to be remembering all the sick bits that I did. Yes. I'm going to be remembering that time that I was at Meow Wolf in Denver and I saw a character actor doing this against a wall and I joined them because I was like, this seems like a really cool bit that only I will get to experience. Or the time when I made my husband and my stepdaughters worship a whale statue with me because I saw it on TikTok. Yes. The yes and mentality is that you can do improv anywhere. Life is only worth it if there can be bits and you can be silly. And, whenever someone asks me to do a bit with them, I'm like, oh my God, what an honor. Of course I'll do a bit with you. That's what it is for me.
I have chills. Like, life is
you
long
too understand.
And yeah, like that's improv. I feel like that's a bit of clown mentality too, of just, oh, bits, where bits, oh, bits. Yes, bits. Oh.
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Bits are what keeps you going. I don't know, for me anyway.
I love that. And bits can be everywhere if you're open to them. But if you're in that no because land, or you're just kind of like, shut off, you don't see the person doing this, waving their hands. Yeah. For those listening, you can't see us, but like waving your hands like frantically right. kind of thing.
Yes.
Like you're not open to like, oh, that is something I could do too. If you're like, no, because you're like, oh, that's weird. But yes, and you're like, ooh, that's weird. I'm intrigued by this.
Yes. Yeah. And that team building scenario I was in, people would be really negative about it. They did not like being forced to do this thing. And I kept going to leadership and being like, maybe you guys don't make it mandatory, but they never listened to me. And so I, at one point, had this woman walk into the session that she was scheduled to be in. And she was like very upset. And her friends were like, how are you? And she was like, I don't want to be here. And I kind of like made a face because I was like, this sucks to be experiencing. And she looked at me and she was like, I'm sorry, but I didn't go to school to play little games. And I was like, that is really sad to me because number one, I did go to school to play little games. And number two, like maybe she does have something in her life that fills that gap for her of like playfulness and silliness and joy. But if she is afraid of that kind of thing because she's worried it makes her look unserious or it makes her vulnerable or whatever, then I feel really sorry for her because like she's depriving herself of one of the greatest joys in life, in my opinion.
Well, and she is not the only person that probably thinks that or deals with that in the workplace. And I mean, there's a whole host of being female, it's a lot of pressure too. So I get it. And also, I don't get it either, because it's like you get to play on company time, and then you get all these light bulb moments and like these silliness, and you go back to your desk refreshed. Like, anyway, we know, but it's hard. I want to be in that same boat. Life is long, and so when I'm on my deathbed at 150, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's too long.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Like, I look back on all the bits and the cool, fun stuff, and yeah, we don't think about work because that's not going to come up, but time with family, the laughter and joy that we had and shared, and all the freaking silly bits that we did. That's what I want.
Hell yeah.
Jessilee, how can we follow you on this journey, this what Boulder hero journey that you're on right now? How can our listeners follow you?
I'm on a Boulder hero journey. I love that. People can follow me. My personal account on Instagram is @Jess_and_. Get it? Because my name is Jessilee and it's Jess and. Do you get it?
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Chef's kiss.
That's my personal Instagram. You can follow House of Comedy at House, that's HAUS, like the German way to spell it, House of Comedy SAC. You can follow us on TikTok and most other social media at House of Comedy. And you could go to our website, houseofcomedy.com. And yeah, we've got a lot of classes that we offer. We have a lot of cool, exciting shows if you're in the area. Our classes, we offer a lot of them in weekend intensive format. So if you're like from an adjacent area like the Bay or something like that, then you can come out, and it's a really good way to like get some, I think, relatively affordable improv classes and try exposing yourself to new styles and etc. And yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff, drop-ins, classes, shows. We have a improv dating event coming up. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. That'll be on October 18th. I don't know when this is airing, but
after that, but I'm sure you'll be hosting, hopefully it goes well, you'll be hosting another one too. That's neat.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So yeah, we have a bunch of cool stuff coming up, so we hope you'll join us.
I like the weekend intensives. Just as a parent, it's hard to commit to a lot, but I can do like a 1-day thing, or even like a 2-day thing, but it's on the same weekend or something. Like, yeah, I'm finding that barrier or that challenge with, just because all the improv stuff is at night, and I have bedtime and stuff to do, and those are just challenges that I can figure out. But yeah, I like those different options. So you are still able to offer classes. They're just not in the location right now. You have other locations you're using?
Yes, that's correct. We do things at the Geary Theater and the Uli Theater in Midtown. And yeah, the weekend intensives are great because I think they're accessible to, different formats are accessible to different folks. Like we have seniors who are like, I don't like to drive when it gets dark. And so our formats, our intensives go until 5. So depending on the season, like that's accessible to them. Or yeah, maybe it's easier to just get a relative to come watch the kids or like help with the kids for a couple days rather than taking a class at night, whatever it is, or people live out of town. They're like, it's easier for me to just come a couple days than it is to come for, 6 weeks, like on a weeknight. So
Jessilee, I'm so excited for you. Remember this talk 2 years ago? We were like bitching about like, corporate life, and it's hard, and I want to invest time in my business, and you're doing it now. So just think what the 2 years from now holds. You'll get that boulder up the hill. You'll be a hero, and butterflies and sunshine and rainbows ahead, whether, as you're going up the hill and at the top of the hill. I'm so excited for your journey. I'm so glad we got to do this finally. And also, I'm so happy and excited for you. Just can't wait to follow and see how this grows.
Oh my gosh, likewise. And Dana, I'm just so excited for your journey with your business and this incredible podcast, and for your kidlet. Congratulations. So exciting. Yeah, I mean, you birthed an entire human person, and that sounds incredibly challenging. And then, now you got to raise that person. There's probably no amount of accolades I can give you for what a labor of love that is. So I hope you're able to feel that at some points.
Oh, I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun. It's mostly fun. But I always go back and forth of like, will she be an only child? I don't know. We'll see. That's an uncertain question right now. Because I always said, as an only child that I will not have an only child. But
Really?
because I was, yeah, like only child audacity, but there's all only child loneliness. So TBD on that one, but I'm not at the right headspace or to that decision yet. But
Yeah,
I do think about it a lot,
for sure. Yeah. Give that time to breathe. Tormund is on screen now and he has opinions. We'll never know what they are.
We will never know what they are, but Tormund, you have been an excellent guest as well. And I appreciate all your insights and interruptions at the best times possible. And we will make sure you get your spotlight moment. You can go check out YouTube and see yourself on screen, Tormund.
Mhm.
Jessilee, biggest of hugs. I can't wait to see you at camp and other, whenever our paths cross again. I will be at camp again at some point, but when you're doing your world tour of improv and like how to open a theater, I hope you make it to the East Coast to do your world tour too.
I will. Yeah, I'll stop by on my world tour.
Big hugs. Thank you again for coming on. And we will chat again for a part 2 follow-up to see how this journey's going soon.
That sounds great. Thank you for having me, Dana and Tormund.
Yes. Thanks, Tormund. And thank you for listening to today's episode with Jessilee Windhaus. What a joy it was to talk with Jessilee. And I'm trying something new. Maybe we can edit this out. Maybe not. I don't know. But I am recording this call to action on video too, as well as audio. Usually I just do audio. And so on the YouTube, it's like just kind of blank space with the logo or something. But I'm recording this call to action on video because why not? Why not try it, right? And I just so love this episode with Jessilee. One, we could talk forever, and we usually do whenever we see each other, either for dinner or at camp. And she's such a joy to be around and to be in improv scenes with. She just lights up the room. She really does. Like, she's just such a fun energy and a supportive energy too. Like, I messed up or said something silly with like the hero's journey and pushing the boulder up the hill, getting through the mud and pushing the boulder up the hill. And, we really latched onto that, as one should, right? Just support each other in our bits and mistakes too. I also really loved how Jessilee had only child audacity. I was laughing to myself a little bit because I feel like I had the opposite. I had like only child shyness for a while and like only child self-awareness. And I guess every kid and person has that self-awareness and maybe low self-esteem. But I don't know. I think we were on 2 different paths. I've said this many times, but I did sports and did not like being in the spotlight. And Jessilee was like the complete opposite, like theater camp and musical theater and like put me in on the stage, like I'm ready. Put me in coach, but on the stage kind of thing. And I love that for her. I love that she had that. And really those skills as a performer have helped her now in the business. Like, we didn't get into it a ton, but just in what she talked about with doing the 15-minute presentation for the panel of business people on the incubator program. Oh my gosh, that is really intimidating and very high stakes too, in the sense of there's money on the line. Yeah, I can get 5K, but if I do really well, I can get more than 5K. And it seems like she did really well with the presentation, with everything else, and she got runner-up in the program. And that's so incredible that she got a little bit of money, some seed grant money to help with operating costs and anything else. And maybe, I guess, the liquor license that cost $26K. Wow. I have such a huge respect for all business owners, everyone who takes the leap and just goes for it and, goes for their dreams and what they believe in. I have even more respect for people who have actual brick and mortar type of places people who have multiple locations of businesses, people who have a team of employees and leading employees and like having people's livelihoods, like they work for the company, like that is their livelihood. I have such a huge respect for that. And I can empathize. I think I have an understanding, but I've not gone through it myself. But I can empathize with the amount of risk that Jessilee is taking on as a business owner. And I can hear it and I can see it. I have other friends who have done something similar. My friend Susan Bartley, who's come on the podcast twice, she has her own pole dancing business. And I see it. I recognize it. It is so much risk as a business owner that you take on, but you know that like you are on the right path, that you're doing the right thing, and it feels good to do what you have dreamt about for so long. And it also hurts to see the amount of debt you're in or the amount of risk that you're taking on. And that song lyric, I think, sums it all up of, I've never been worse, financially, stability wise, all the things. I've never been worse, but I've never been better. And I'm going to sound like a mom, but I'm so proud. I'm just going to say it because I am a mom, a proud mom and pod mom. I'm so proud of Jessilee for just going for it. It's really inspiring and motivating to see her go for it. And she's got help. She's got Nick, who's amazing, and Andy, who I haven't met, but he sounds amazing too. And they're going for it. And they're adding some really great experiences and entertainment to the Sacramento area. And I love that. I am in Jesselee's corner, cheering her on, so excited for her. And I just can't wait to see all that she achieves and her team achieves, all that they achieve with House of Comedy. So excited for them. And I hope that you'll be in their corner cheering them on too. Follow them, follow the journey. If you're in the Sacramento area, check them out for classes. If you ever visit Sacramento, please go to a show and tell them that you heard about it on the podcast. How awesome would that be? Please, let Jessilee know that you learned about them on the podcast. I'm going to dream big here. That would be amazing. But really just supporting local businesses. If you never make it to Sacramento, it is a great town, but it might not be on your list. But supporting the local theaters in your area is an action you can take too, of just, hey, I see that there are people behind this theater that are working so hard. And I've always been interested in improv, or like I've been thinking about taking a class. Here's your permission slip. Here's your reminder. Here's your action call to sign up for a class. Why not? It might be fun. It actually probably will be fun. And it may just lead to other cool things. You never know. Last thing I want to chat about, and then I'll sign off. But again, we talked about it in the episode, but I think it's important to reiterate it again. Jessilee and I had dinner at this point 2 years ago, October 2023. We got dinner and we were both in corporate jobs, and there's nothing wrong with corporate jobs. They're very stable. They're very important to the economy, but we were not happy. All right. We were dreaming of other things. We wanted other things. We were laying the foundation for other things. And for Jessilee, like a few months later, she went full-time in her business. And then a year later started this theater. And now 2 years later, we're talking again about her brick and mortar theater that is about to open at some point. Once everything's ready, it's opening soon. And I get chills thinking about that. And that is consistency. That is saying yes and to yourself, saying yes and to your ideas and your dreams and your big dreams, saying yes and going for it and staying consistent. I understand that it can be so hard. You say yes and one day, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And then you do this thing because I do this. You do the thing and then you're like, oh God, what did I just do? And you start to question your choices and your actions, and you want to make a complete 180 from that choice and decision you made. But improv is all about making choices and following those choices that you've made. And so, this is so silly, but if you are in the mud and you are going through the mud, about to push that boulder up the hill, keep pushing that boulder up the hill. Wherever you are on the hero's journey, I hope you will continue it. And I want to hear your story. If you have that hero's journey story, if you're pushing that boulder up the hill, keep going. Because the world needs your idea more than ever now. And you have this great idea. Say yes and to it and keep going. Stay consistent. It takes time. It can take more than a year or 2 years. It can take a lot of time, but it's so worth it. So go through the mud, push that boulder up the hill. You got this. Thank you again for listening. If anything resonated with you, you want to reach out to me. If you've got a Boulder hero's journey to share, you want to come on the podcast, would love to hear from you and what your Boulder hero's journey is. You can reach out to me at dana@improvalyspeaking.com. That's DAYNA at improvly, that's improv speaking.com. I'm also on Instagram at improvalyspeaking, not improbably speaking, which is what the transcripts always put it as. Improbably speaking. On LinkedIn, I'm at Dana Gowan, and you can always find information about my services and offerings at improvalyspeaking.com. I'm so excited for you and your Boulder hero's journey that you're going through. I'm in your corner cheering you on, and I hope you'll stay consistent and take that risk and go for it. And you can come on the pod and share when you're going through it. Thanks so much for listening and supporting Improvly Speaking. I'll leave you with our ever-going reminder to say yes and flex your creative thinking. I'll talk to you next time.